Let's bring in Matt Lutovsky and get his opinion on this. Matt, thanks again for coming on Newswire. It would appear that the Boston Celtics are going to be the NBA champions, if not tomorrow, maybe Monday or maybe early next week. I mean, no one comes back down 0-3, so it's just probably a matter of when, not if. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it certainly feels that way to me. What was your opinion of last night's game? Let's start there, and then we'll get to the negative side of it, because obviously Boston's just such a boring team to talk about, right? All they do is win, and we just find some other narrative for some other team to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to sit here and analyze, a matchup, or there's this, that, and this is how Boston is really getting an edge. And if Dallas does this, it just feels like they're too good. And I know that's not a great piece of analysis, but it really does. And even without Porzingis, we all got excited. Okay, no Porzingis, Dallas has a chance now, and all that good stuff. And then we sit there and watch the game, and we just come away, same conclusion. It was kind of a roller coaster of a game. It really went up and down, but at the end, same conclusion. And when Tatum and Brown get going, and neither of them shot that well last night, that's the thing, but they scored a combined 61. And I think if you told Mavericks fans, or, anyone, that Luka and Kyrie would have a combined 62 and it wouldn't be enough to get the win, or it would only be 1 point more than Brown and Tatum, you just sigh and kind of hang your head, because And there's not really that third guy at all for the Celtics. For the Mavericks, but the Celtics have numerous guys, and they get guys who just come in and give them a flurry, like Sam Hauser hitting 3 threes, or even, the Xavier Tillman little flurry where he hits a three, gets some boards, gets some blocks, and they just have so many guys who can do it. They're so good defensively, and, Luka, I think Luka was playing like he knew he had to play, and that sort of led to some of the fouls, and yeah, at that point, it was just, they didn't have an answer. And all Boston needed to do when you build up that big of a lead in the second half is just hit one or two key shots, and you can hold off the Mavericks. So it's just tough. They've been the best team all year. I think people doubted them for a long time because they hadn't won the big one yet, even though their star players are still pretty young in the grand scheme of things. And here they are, and they're on the verge of completing the job.
Yeah, no one's doubting them now, and inevitably when they do win, or if they do win, the Mavericks will look back at Game 3 with the chance to win, and I'm sure that Luka Dončić will look back and say, that shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have picked up my sixth foul in that game. Now, we see this in the past, Matt, and here's kind of the moving forward question for me with this, is that, I remember LeBron James losing in championships, learning from that, coming back and winning championships. I think Michael Jordan in the Eastern Conference Finals talked about that, going up against Detroit. This has happened throughout the history of the NBA, where star players initially struggle in the bright moment, and then they come back, and then they win. Do you think that this can happen for Luka? Is that sort of where we're at on the trajectory of his career?
Yeah, it certainly can. I mean, he's good enough. He's a legit top 5, probably top 3 player. Might be number 1 pretty soon if he's not already. He's right there. Put it that way. The thing is, I don't know how good this Dallas team is, obviously. And they were great last series. They looked good. But how much of that was the Timberwolves just not playing well, not being ready for the moment, similar to what you're saying, where they had to get over that hump and they had to take some bruises and some scars before they could eventually get there, Anthony Edwards specifically. So this is a very solid team. They're in the NBA Finals. Luka is just, a quintessential star player who can lead a team. But I do think they need to fill in around him a little better. And, look, they have good role players who really came through the last 2 rounds, aren't coming through as much, but that's because they're up against an elite defense. They were up against an elite defense the last 2 rounds, to be fair. But, this is raised, and the team they're playing has experience, has gone through the scars, has lost in a finals, has lost in a conference finals. So there you go. That's probably the difference. So this is going to help. There's no question about that. But it's still going to be a long road to the top when the league is as stacked as it is right now. The West is as stacked as it is. And it doesn't look like this Boston team is going anywhere for at least the next season, maybe beyond.
Yeah, it's really a great team, as you mentioned. Several players, high caliber, 4, 5, 6 guys that they could play at any point Kristaps Porziņģis did not play in the last game. I think, Matt, it's fair to say that he's very questionable to play in the next game with them up 3-0. So two-part question here. I guess the easy one is, would you say that the Celtics would be doing the smart thing by sitting Porzingis in the next game again? And then on top of that, how many games do you think Boston wins at this point? They're minus 105 to win it in 4 on FanDuel. And if you want to try and stretch beyond that, which is possible, the game's in Dallas, it's plus 160 in a 5-game win.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dallas will come out hair on fire. It's what the Timberwolves did, last round against them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas won Game 4, but I do think it's going to be Boston. I mean, we haven't even seen a really good Tatum shooting game yet. So I think it's going to be Boston and winning it in 4. I don't think Porzingis will play. I don't think they have a reason to play him. I don't know if he'd be back all series if it did extend. It's just a weird injury, and that gives Dallas a chance. I do think it does. And if Boston has a really cold game like they seem to do, Dallas has a chance.
All right. Well, Matt, we certainly will find out when the next game tips off. And I think the only shot that Dallas has to, in my opinion, Matt, is they got to be up at some point early in this game. They are just falling behind in every game that they play. It's almost impossible to play that way. Great stuff, Matt, as always. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.